Hello. Am I live
Hey,
back?
are,
Woo, man.
oh, good.
I had
Okay.
the entire computer crashed. So
Oh, man.
I think we're back streaming again.
Okay. Is the stream actually live still?
Well, it's not the same stream anymore, but we are live again on YouTube. So as soon as everyone realizes that that crashed, then we should be getting back in there. Let me start up my browser again.
Okay.
Let's see.
Here, and I'll message your Darlantis.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay. And I'm posting a video, a message. Yeah,
Yeah.
because your video stream actually ended. Dang it. And it like went off of it because we were still a little bit chatting on the live chat.
Yeah, we were a little bit. And then the whole thing froze off. So,
Yeah. And then it just like,
okay.
okay.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Let's see about what this is. I don't need that window at the moment. Um,
Because I'm curious to your take on
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a good way to kind of keep Liquid Jewel 2 weeks down the road.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's some interesting aspects to impermanent loss that I had another person asking about impermanent loss a day or two ago, and I've really studied a lot about that. And I think
Okay.
I can describe it fairly well now. In fact, even with some online impermanent loss calculators, it's real easy for me to show how that works these days. And I don't know if we want to talk about that right at this very moment or if we want to wait until we're all back up on YouTube and we have people listening again. But I'm happy to just chat
Yeah.
with you about it, just you and me too.
Right. Because I want to hear. I've done. It's so confusing, and even my description of balancing out the pool is actually an oversimplified. It's not that simple
Uh-huh.
because if one side of the liquidity it it's not actually rebalancing necessarily. Like a,
Right.
a more a more advanced automated market maker will actually do that, but most of the dexes, like it once you run out of one side of the liquidity,
Yep.
it you'll literally just run out of that token
Right.
within that side of the liquidity. And I I don't understand it deep enough to
Yeah.
know actually
Well,
how that shakes out. But okay.
let's
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit because I would love to maybe enlighten you. I think you already know this
Sure.
stuff, but just in case you don't, or maybe someone else out there doesn't really know a whole lot about impermanent loss, let's talk about that a little bit. So one of the
Yeah.
things that we want to do, or let me just come up to an impermanent loss calculator. I had one not too long ago. I've still got all this Miami stuff. Man, we're going to Miami, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, and while we're waiting, okay, here's one thing to note is that Justice Beaver just said the flights have gone up like $400
Oh yeah.
and he's not sure he's going to be able to make it.
Uh-oh.
So one question I had if you on my stream earlier was if we have
Uh-huh.
extra rooms or not. And the
Yeah.
other then another question I had is if someone wants to crash out on a couch, is that possible? And then that could, pay a little bit to do that.
Yeah.
That would make it cheaper for everyone too, even if we didn't have enough rooms or even if that's allowed with
Right.
Airbnb.
Yeah.
So,
So let me answer a little bit of that right now while we're getting ready with
okay.
this. So we've got a space, and in fact, I guess I can show this because we've already booked it.
Yeah.
So I guess we can kind of show it on here. We've got this space on there, and we can have supposedly up to 10 guests. No,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
great.
No, that is not right. This is not the right one.
Okay.
Um, hang on a second. Let me find the right one.
Okay. And while you're
Let's
finding
see
that
what it
too,
is.
I could send you Jewel or USDC. It's up to you. Uh, because of the Jewel
Oh
crash,
yeah,
even since
yeah.
you said that. So either way is fine.
So here's the one
Okay.
that we booked, and we can have some number of guests. I'm not sure how many guests we can actually have at a max. It might be 6 or 7, possibly 8, maybe max. So
Okay.
our host or any of these Airbnbs does have, oftentimes they will have a limit to the number of people that you can stuff into a room. And that
Right.
they have to
Yeah.
follow certain rules about maximum occupancy and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Worm is making a note that it says 6 guests, but Worm, I think that's because when I signed up for this particular room, there was 6 of us, and so I think this 6 might be here just because we've already signed up. I'll need to check to see, but we can do that real quick by looking at other dates. So maybe if I come in from this date to this date, let's say, or check in on that date and then check out on this date, then let's see if we can go up to more guests. Oh, nope, 6 is the max. Okay, so it looks like for this particular one that we got, 6 is the maximum that we can have for us. They don't let us go up anymore.
Okay. And you can always ask the owner, and if you ask them, what you can say is, we probably won't. The reason why we're coming is for this conference in which we'll be at.
Yeah.
And all we'll really be doing is needing a place to lay our head.
Yeah.
And so he might be cool with more, or he might say, no, we can't have more than 6, so,
right.
But you could throw it out there.
I will definitely ask.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's possible that there is a city ordinance or a mandate or something that says you cannot have this, and if you break this rule, then you could be banned from ever having Airbnbs ever again, right? So we'd want to respect that. So here's the next thing. 6 is our maximum. If one person can't make it, we could fill in with another person. That's absolutely true. I will ask if we can squeeze in another person if we have another one. But here's the other thing that we need to keep in mind, and that is there is a different fee for the number of guests that you have. And so if we have less guests, then it costs less. If we have more guests, it costs more. So with our specific arrangements of 6 guests, that's where it costs the $1,200 that we had there, right, for those 4 days and so on. So if we do get a 7th guest, it's not necessarily going to cut down each of our costs, because we're going to end up paying more for the 7th guest overall, right? So that's something that we need to keep in mind. When I ask if we can have a 7th, I will also find out at that time how much more it will add on to our full payment. I know that when I was thinking about going earlier with my partner, she and I were looking at things, and it was, or some Airbnbs that we were looking at, it was the same cost for one person as 2 people. So in that particular case, it would be cheaper for 2 people to go there. But once you start adding more, then you start to get higher cleaning fees and higher, I forget what the other word is. There's a cleaning fee, service fee, and then there's some other type of occupation fee as well, right?
Yeah, occupation. So just emphasize to them that we'll be at the conference early in the morning, all day long, and then probably after the conference hanging out away from the unit and getting back late, and then just crashing, and then waking up early and leaving again all day. But it may not matter, but it's worth saying that.
I will definitely ask. Here's something else that we would consider. There are 2 bedrooms, and Starbuck has already kind of pitched in a little bit of extra funds to kind of claim that. I felt that was okay for his specific situation. We can talk about that offline if you want to a little bit more.
Okay, sure.
And then there's another bedroom, but that's it. There's just two queen size beds, and I know that we're all grown adults, and piling onto a bed is probably going to be fine. But I'm sure a lot of us are fine with sleeping on the couches and stuff like that. I think there's an air mattress in here also. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah, there are two closed bedrooms and an air mattress. So there is an air mattress. It looks like there's this big couch that someone could sleep on. There's this maybe smaller couch. And so we probably do have a couple of places, but putting at least two of us in a queen size bed, I think would not be a problem. I'm fine sleeping on the couch. In fact, that's probably what I'll do. So
Okay.
other people can take that other queen size bed. And if you want to bunk up with, I guess it's going to be Mosh and Beeve in there, you can, or however y'all want to work
We
that.
could
I'll
all
let
be a bunch of cuddle buddies in there. Okay, so it doesn't sound like we may not want to try and unless someone wants to potentially like sleep on the floor.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Mosh and Beeve
Okay.
is my thinking with that. Mosh and Beeve would probably take the other queen size, and that leaves an air mattress if you wanted to take that, or if you would prefer the couch, I'd be fine with the air mattress. Whatever, I'm fine with whatever you want.
Yeah, I'll probably be good either way
Yeah,
too.
I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's what the room situation looks like. Uh, is two queen beds and an air mattress is what we have, and the rest of the people are sleeping. Either we're piling on one of the beds, or we're sleeping on the floor, or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And
Awesome.
the living space though seems pretty nice and large. I mean, we've got full size refrigerator. So one of the things that I'm planning to do, I'm coming in fairly early on Sunday, and so I'm planning to. There's also a grocery store really close by, Whole Foods. So I'll be
Oh,
going
that's
to the grocery store and bringing some food in as well.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you a little extra for all your trouble finding that too.
Oh, don't worry about
Yeah,
that.
baby.
But
How much is it?
I
How
mean,
much is it
I won't turn it down.
per?
Oh,
Okay.
per person, I don't know if you saw the Discord, but it turned out to be like 809 809 Jewel, if we're going to do the Jewel part of it. And Starbuck said, "Hey, I'll send you 808, since obviously 808 is the thing." And that was perfectly
Oh,
fine. So 808, send 808 Jewel to my wallet,
okay.
and that will cover everything that we need there.
Sure.
So,
I can do that right now.
yeah. I thought
Okay,
that.
so I'm curious to hear more of your takes on impertinent
Yes.
loss
Yes.
because I've seen so much about it. Uh,
Yeah.
Sometimes
It's
it's
challenging.
complex.
It
Yeah,
is. It
right.
is really challenging. So let me
Hmm.
come into here and let's see if this is the right place. Yeah, this is it. So I'm going to drop this link into the chat room if anybody wants to take a closer look at the impermanent loss calculator that I'm looking at here.
Okay.
And I think, again, maybe one of the reasons, the last time you were on live, or one of the last times you were on with me live, my computer also crashed, right?
Oh man.
Do you remember that?
Okay.
So I'm wondering if me
Yeah.
sharing my screen on Discord and all the other stuff that I was doing while streaming is too much for my little computer. And so
Okay.
I don't know if I want to
That's
share
okay.
my screen.
Sure.
Okay. So here we've got a simple impermanent loss calculator where we can just put, some amount of token A and some amount of token B, and then it's going to show us the impermanent loss for this. This is not really a great one. Let's go to the advanced one here. So I'll give it a minute for the screen to catch up for y'all. So on the advanced, what we can do is we can put a number of tokens and a price, and then another number of tokens and a price a little bit later on down the road. And the impermanent loss comes in, as you already know, the difference of what you would have made if you would have just hodled or held those tokens, as opposed to not get and not got into the liquidity pool, right? So
Yeah.
let's do a little something here. Let's say that you had um, let's say you've got $10,000 of value for something, right? You've got $10,000 USD cash, and you want to know what's going to be better. Do I want to put this into a liquidity pool, or do I want to hodl, these tokens, right?
Yeah. Just hold the jewel and hold your USDC, or
Absolutely right.
whatever. Yeah.
So
Right.
let me start off with 2,000 and 3,000 of something, and let's do this a little bit more accurately with the price of Jewel, for example. So the price of Jewel started off to be 15 cents back in the middle of October. October 15th, 16th, 17th, Jewel was 15 cents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if we look back at that time as well, and I'll pull that up right here
Yeah,
on
that's
the,
when we went in.
yeah,
We were selling we were both talking about it, selling our crystal into
exactly,
jewel, and that
exactly.
turned out well so
Yeah,
far.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Let's flip this, invert this pair, and let's look back at Jewel price back on October the 19th. So here's the last few days, and we can see right back here on October the 19th that Jewel was sitting right there at about 15 cents. About
Mm-hmm.
15 cents. So let's plug that in to our impermanent loss calculator. 15 cents for 2,000 Jewel tokens is only $300. So what I want to do is I want to make that closer to $5,000. So let's add another zero on there, and let's up this to, oops, not that much. Something around here. Let's
Mm-hmm.
do this amount right there. So we're just about at $5,000, right? 4,400 or 4,995 with 33,000 Joule at 15 cents per Joule. And then what we have is we have another token over here, Crystal. So let's go and look at what Crystal was that exact same day to make this really pertinent and that we can all fully understand. So on October the 19th, way back here, around the same time, Crystal was 23 cents, right?
Okay.
Let's
And
say,
it soon after that hit like 27,
yeah, it popped all the way up here
28.
to almost 30 cents.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Crystal did not too long ago, right? But down here in
Mm-hmm.
October, it was 23 cents. We're going to put that into our calculator. So 0.23. So that means that for this $10,000 of invested, so each one of these tokens, we've had to split our money, right? We've got 10,000 US dollars right now, fiat. And we're saying, forget this fiat, I need to get into DeFi Kingdoms. And so
Yeah.
you take that fiat and you split it in half. Half of it goes to 33,000 Joule at 15 cents a Joule, and the other half goes to 21,000 Crystal at 23 cents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on both of those sides, you got 4,995 for a total of 9,990, just about our 10,000 price now, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
let's take a look back at our charts again, and let's see what's happened right at this very moment. So here we can see that Crystal is down to 20 cents. It's lower right now than it was before, right? When we bought it at 23 cents, it's down to 20 cents. So
Mm-hmm.
let's go ahead and plug in uh, the new price of Crystal at 20 cents. So that's a change of negative 13% change. We're down 13% in our Joule over the course of the last few weeks. Let's go back over here to Joule, and invert that pair. Today, Joule is sitting at 22 cents, right? So we're going to come back over to our impermanent loss calculator and put in a price today of 0.22. So that's a 46% gain in Joule price since October the 20th, even with this massive huge dip that we've had yesterday and today because of crypto in general. We have this massive huge dip, but still we're up 46% over what it was on October the 19th, right? So does all that make
Yeah.
sense so far?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So we put in these values for $10,000 total, and now we have $11,000 total. So we've gained, even though Joule is down 13%, right? Even though Joule is down 13%,
Crystal's
I mean,
down
sorry.
13%.
Yes.
Yes.
This is
Huh?
what we were talking about just a minute ago when you mean one
Right.
thing and you say the different word. Thank you for correcting me.
You
Okay.
bet.
I meant Crystal. Even though Crystal is down 13%, Joule is still up so much more that our whole portfolio is now gone from 9,900 to 11,280. So that's really a gain of about $1,300, just about, right?
Okay.
That's,
With you 10,000.
yeah, you
But
start off with,
is that calculator tracking the price movements during that time and the and all that?
so
Because
the answer is no, but at the
okay.
same
Okay.
time, it does not matter what the price movement was between when we first put in. If we take our money out now, so if we say, hey, I'm done with this, I've made some money, and I remove my seed and I split the seeds out right now, then it doesn't matter if it shot up to $1 million and then dropped back down. And I mean, you should know that from, or not just you, but anybody.
Well, where it does matter is like that type of volume and activity with the fees
Oh, yes, yes.
and things like that. And also, I think it does matter, um, but I don't know to the extent.
Yeah. So
Uh,
you are correct in that if there's
mhm.
a whole lot of transactions that are happening and a whole lot of volume, then the fee rewards that we are getting from the C jeweler or from a liquidity pool that deals with that can also increase our daily rewards. But what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about daily rewards, which should be
Mhm.
considered also. I'm talking about the investment, the initial investment that you had, which started off to
Yeah.
be $10,000, and when you pull out of that fund, if you want to call it that, then you will end
Yeah.
up pulling out $11,281, and that does not account. That doesn't account for any rewards that you got along the way. That is absolutely true. But here,
Okay.
but here,
Or like even like the restructuring of the pool. See, I think
right?
I've seen the calculators before,
Mm-hmm.
and I think like on a more simplistic form of looking at it is still good though. But I don't think they're super spot on necessarily. There's a lot of different other factors that come into play.
Yeah.
But
There,
it's okay. Go ahead. Finish your
yeah.
thought on
There,
that.
there absolutely are some other things to consider besides just this. You are
Yeah.
getting rewards from being in a liquidity pool, but if you had just hodled and held that, then you would have had the original 33,000 jewel tokens, and you would have had the original 21,700 crystal tokens, and then
Uh-huh.
your total amount would be 11,669. So you'd have an additional $400 that
Mm-hmm.
you have now. So that's what they mean. That's the exact definition of impermanent loss, is that if we would just would have hodled those tokens, we would have
You got
had
it.
11,000. But since we got into a liquidity pool and the value of our cheaper tokens, the value of the token that went down, we had 21,000 crystal, but now we've got 28,000 crystal of the cheaper token. And so we've lost some potential earnings from just holding those two original tokens, right? That's what the definition of impermanent loss. But now, even worse than that, you are super bullish on Jewel, right?
Yes.
Yes. So the next thing that we would want to look at is, instead of putting in 33,000 tokens into Jewel and splitting $5,000, half of that, or I'm sorry, this is, yeah, $5,000 into another token that you don't necessarily think is going to do as well, then what you're really doing is you're shooting yourself in the foot really bad, right?
Yeah, big time. So,
Because
and we were talking about that like with the crystal Bitcoin pool looks juicy, but man, crystal's going to be dumping. So
yeah,
I'd stay out of that. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so if $5,000 would get us 33,000 Jewel at the 15% price, if we put all 10,000 in, we would have double this, would have 66,000 Jewel at the end of this, right? If we put all 5,000, I mean all 10,000 of this all into just Jewel, right? So you think, I'm super bullish on Jewel, I'm going to put all $10,000 in.
Yeah.
You'd have about 66,000 Jewel. And now when you multiply that by the rate of Jewel right now, which is 22 cents, times 0.22, now you're looking at $14,000 as opposed to $11,000 if
Right.
you got into a pool, and
Mm-hmm.
11.6 if you just hodled two individual tokens. So
That's right.
what I'm going to say for myself is I'm so bullish on Jewel, I do not want to split half of my funds into a token that I don't think is going to do as well as Jewel, even though I think Crystal will do okay, and even though I think BTC will do okay, I think
Yeah.
Jewel is going to do a lot more. So I would rather all of my funds be in that. And of course, we got to be careful to not put all our eggs in one basket. But in this particular
Right. Yeah.
case,
So
with
how about like, and you want some dry powder on the side, which I still have, of
yeah,
course. But I thought having the dry powder combined with the jewel, I'm really so anytime you go into liquidity, you have to be real happy to have both sides
right,
either
and
which way.
right.
So like in this case, if jewel's pumping and I'm getting more cash, I end up pulling out more cash. Yeah, you would be better off. Like if you're just holding another way to look at this, let's say you start out with 5,000 jewel and $5,000 of USDC and you just want to hold both,
Right.
you
Right.
know, um,
If
would you be better off putting that into a pool or not?
right. So
Or just holding it? I'm like that's where I'm
right.
really felt good about aping into that pool, especially since they added another 5% APR.
That looks juicy. It does. So here's
Uh, yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So no, I hear you. You're right on it. In fact, Low Tech is asking the same thing in chat. Would the APR help make up or even outpace the impermanent loss? That could be, and of course, Grady, this is what you're talking about as far as the
Mm-hmm.
rewards that you're getting could help make up for some of that impermanent loss. And the answer is, of course, probably and possibly. It depends on what happens. So a good example is if we know that New Serendale is going to be launched in a week and a half. Grady, it's in a week and a half. If we know that this thing is coming in a
Yeah.
week and a half, this gives us a very short time frame to make a really good or a really bad decision in what we're going to do. So here's the thing to
Mm-hmm.
think about as far as would it have been better to go into one token or a liquidity pool and all this kind of stuff. Let's go back to what we're looking at in this real world example right here. We got out and sold some stuff on October the 19th, and we kind of got ready in Jewel and all this kind of stuff. I think you did exactly the same thing as I did in that did you get out of any liquidity pools as well on
I
October the
got
19th?
out of all my
Yeah,
liquidity pools,
I did
all of
too.
them. And it was more like when I think Crystal was around 26 cents,
Mm-hmm.
between 25 and 26 cents.
Yeah.
And I dumped a ton of Crystal, all my
Yeah.
Clayton that I had on there, all my Avalanche right into Jewel
Yes.
when it was 15 cents. And then for
Yes.
like a day or two, I was like, oh man, because we saw Crystal pump all the way back, all the way up to almost 30 cents. I was like, man, I should have
Mm-hmm.
waited a day or two. Now
Yeah.
looking at it, but in the grand scheme of things,
It turned
that
out
was a
well.
home run. So I got out of all the liquidity
Yes.
and have just been holding a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's exactly
Even,
what I did. I
mm-hmm,
on the 19th, I jumped out of sold all of my liquidity
mm-hmm.
and got it all into Jewel and put it in. So here's the thing. I knew that this thing was coming down the road really soon, and
Yeah.
even though I believe in Bitcoin, I believe in Crystal in the long term, and I believe in USDC having stability, I felt that on the very short term, Jewel was going to be the best play. So, of course, that's what I did. That's what you did as well. I think a lot of other people did this. And so, the question on the table right now is would the APR getting into a liquidity pool, would that help make up for some of the impermanent loss? And I would say that from October the 20th to now, November the 8th, which is only about 2 week time period, no way would the small amount of APR over a 2 week time period make up for what's our calculator looking at? The $14,000 or the $4,000 gain over what an APR is not going to give you 4,000 additional dollars on $10,000 in 2 weeks, right?
Right. Yeah. In that scenario you just gave.
Right.
Yeah. When where doing the reason why with the USDC Jewel
Mm-hmm.
is because think of it as if you can hold $5,000 worth of Jewel and then $5,000 worth of USDC, just for simplicity of math.
Yep.
Between, like in my case, I guess it was yesterday, which is a full 2 weeks, because yesterday was the 7th, right? Today's the 8th. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay. My brain with the dates, even it's like, whoa, it's already the 8th. So 2 weeks down the road, I'm thinking, okay, what if Jewel dumps hard, or if Jewel pumps? Either way, I'm good being in that pool.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like the icing on top, I look at as the extra interest, because I do want to do some more summoning. Earning the crystal would be nice. And now that I think of it, I probably have something like that math, something maybe around like 4,000 and 4,000 USDC with, or even 3,500 USDC with 3,500 worth of Jewel in that pool. And basically, if Jewel's dumping, then it's kind of like I'm buying the dip. And then if Jewel's pumping, I'm selling the top.
So here's what I wanted to get at with that. So that sounds good. You always want to buy the dip and sell the top, but the thing is, you're always balancing. So if it's not actually like you're taking profits when it goes up high, and you're not selling at the high points and then buying at the low points, and you're breaking that. Your portfolio, your liquidity pool is always balanced at the same $5,000 amount. It's just that you have more of one token or more of another token, but
that's right.
Your pool, it's not like you're getting Jewel cheaper one day or the next, because it really just depends on what those values are when you pull out of the liquidity pool, right?
That's right.
So you are correct in that your daily gains, or the APR, or the rewards that you have for holding in that liquidity pool on a day-to-day basis, you will be getting some rewards from that. But when you pull this out, if Jewel had dropped, so let's say that you had 200 Jewel in here and 100 USD. These numbers do not match up. But let's just say that you had this, and then a little bit later you ended up with 250 of this, and so more, and you had less of this, right? Because it fluctuates. And then a few days later you had 150 of this, and then you had additional 150 of this right here, and they're fluctuating from day to day. These are obviously are not the proper numbers, but they're fluctuating through the day. Then when you finally withdraw right here on this day, then you're going to end up with whatever you have right now. It wouldn't matter what they fluctuate from day to day. It's matter what they are today, right? And
yeah, that's right. So to think of it, you could, let's just say you start with $5,000 worth of Jewel, $5,000 worth of USDC.
Yeah.
Okay, and Jewel dumps, and now all of a sudden you have $3,500 worth of Jewel and $5,000 worth of USDC. You just lost $1,500 in that scenario if you're just holding the two. Whereas if you would have been in the pool,
you still lose the same amount. It's just that the pool is going to give you some APR rewards on the side as a bonus, right?
Well, right, but in that scenario within the pool, then you pull out, you're going to end up having more Jewel in that scenario, and so which is kind of the goal.
Sure.
And so you pull out on the 21st of November, and let's just say Jewel dumped, by 30% at that point. Now you're in a place where you have, instead of having $5,000 worth of USDC and $3,500 worth of Jewel, what's the average between that? You have
Right. You'll end up having more USDC, and it might be something
right.
closer to 4,500 USDC and $3,500 worth of Jewel, right? And so
Or wouldn't it be right balanced? So you'd have, I guess that's $4,250 worth of USDC and $4,250 worth of Jewel, plus the trading fees,
no,
which isn't a ton, and then plus the crystal that you've earned.
that's not correct. No. So when you put that in, let's say you're putting in $5,000 of each one, then when you
Mm-hmm.
pull out, you're pulling out an equal US dollar value of each one. So
That's
you could be pulling out, yeah. So I guess I think you're right. Maybe I
yeah.
misunderstood you.
That's the go between, and so
You're pulling out an equal dollar amount, but
that's right.
you might be getting, if Jewel had really dumped, then you're going to get a lot more Jewel and a lot less
USDC. That's right.
Right.
So instead of like if you were just holding the whole time of $5,000 of USDC, and now you have $3,500 worth of Jewel, instead you would be at $4,250 of each,
Right.
on a simplistic, plus the trading fees, plus the crystal you earned. Or on the flip side, the bummer is, well, I don't even know if it's a bummer necessarily. If Jewel had really pumped during that time, and so let's say on the flip side, Jewel had pumped to where if you had just been holding the two, you'd have 5,000 of USDC, and now you have, let's say it pumped $1,500 worth, so you'd have $6,500 worth of Jewel. If you'd have just been holding,
You'd have a lot more if you're just holding Jewel.
Your point, you're better off just holding.
Right.
Is that kind of where you're
right? That's where
going
we're getting
with
at.
it? Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah,
what I'm really getting at there is USDC is not going to fluctuate a lot, and so if you think that the token that you want, that you're looking at, whether it's Jewel or Crystal, like I think Crystal is going to drop in the next 3 weeks. I think Jewel is going to pump in the next 3 weeks. So what I would want to do is I would want to probably sell my Crystal now into Jewel to get rid of Jewel while it's higher right now, and then when Jewel pumps in a few weeks, then I could sell it, but I'm probably just going to be investing it a little bit more. But I could sell it when it's higher and then buy more of something that's at a lower depressed value at that time.
Yeah, it's just so hard to know when to sell.
Yeah.
And so that's why I put about 75% of my Jewel into the jeweler at 3 years.
That's a commitment there, man.
I know it, right? Because
so here's the next thing I want to ask you, Grady.
Yeah.
And that is, were you thinking when you put in 75%, like you're saying you already put in 75% of your Jewel into C Jewel, were you giving a lot of thought to the fact that there's going to be a whole other set of raffle tickets for S Jewel holdings?
Yes. So that's where I still have some cash on the side.
Okay.
And that's where and a lot of my cash actually I put into the animal farm, which I was talking about this morning.
I heard,
a little bit.
Yep.
And which I'm making quite a lot of APR there. Now we'll see how that actually pans out with the dog, because anytime you're looking at the APR you're earning, it's deceiving. It depends the APR that you're earning. So like the jeweler, you're actually earning Jewel, which is the gold, the whole thing, of the whole ecosystem. It makes it so much more bullish. But and then I also have, I have like $5,000 or $6,000 still of dry powder that I'm willing to put in, for Jade and for more Jewel. and things like that as well.
Yeah. So,
That I'm just yeah.
yeah. So Sargent is asking if we're bullish on Jewel, then the Serendale Crystal Veil uh, jeweler is probably a good thing for you. And I
Yes.
I would say yes in a way, because what that means is you don't have to split your jewel with some other
That's right.
token, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So
That's right.
so I think Jewel is going to outperform. So here's the way I think about this, and I'm curious, Grady, how you think about it. I think about it: is a particular token going to outperform the other token that I would want to get into a pool for, and if so, by how much? Now, if let's say that we were talking about Crystal and Jade, I think Crystal and Jade are going to perform very, very similar to each other. And so, in that particular case, if there was a pool, an AP a liquidity pool with Crystal and Jade, I could put money into both of those pairs, Crystal and Jade equally, and I would feel very confident that Crystal and Jade would both perform equally because they're both the power tokens on these two blockchains that we're playing this game on. You're going to do summons, you're going to buy heroes, you're going to do all that stuff with those
Right.
individual tokens, and there's the same amount of market cap for each of those, and I feel that
Yep.
Crystal and Jade are going to be paired up hand in hand, and that's going to be really good. And I would feel really good about getting into liquidity pool with both of those. I wouldn't have any, or not, I shouldn't say any. There probably wouldn't be much impermanent loss that I need to worry about, because neither of those tokens I would expect is going to way outperform one of the other tokens. Now, when we're talking about USDC and Jewel, though, I think that Jewel is going to double in value and USDC is not going to double in value. So, and it would be super easy for Jewel to double in value because it's only 20 cents right now. So why in the
Right.
world would I want to put half of my money into something that's not going to double or triple or quadruple in value? It just makes no sense to me at all, right? And so,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the only reason, so here's a couple things too. I was wanting to take a little bit of profit on the
mm-hmm,
jewel, and that's always hard to do, right? Because when it's pumping, it's like, where's it going to pump to? Like I've experienced a lot of coins going to zero.
yes,
So
yes, you have.
you wish you would have taken some profits along the way
Yeah.
in that scenario. But for example, like with Binance Coin, I bought it at 79 cents and then sold almost all of it at $15,
Mm-hmm.
only to just be devastated as I saw it go up to almost $700.
Wow.
And that hurts just as much. That hurts actually worse, because knowing that, man, if I would have just held and not been selling so much, selling some, yes. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like my mindset with Jewel. I wanted to sell some to take profits, maybe around the 30-cent mark, or something. And that's where I just felt good about going into the Jewel USDC pool, because that was like a lot of that Jewel that I was willing to take some profits on. So if it does pump, awesome. If it dumps, awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I'm good either way. But then another thought too, with which is also why I aped into the jeweler for 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
because hey, I can't sell that. And that can be a good thing, unless it's either, so my mindset with the project is it's either going to really kick ass or it's going to go to zero, one of the two.
Yeah.
And that's the case for most crypto, really.
Yeah.
It's either going to win or it's going to die.
Right.
And so you want to be sure you at least hung on to the winners, and in that scenario. And so one thing though to consider with Jade is that, yes, I agree, in the long term we're going to have like a very similar pairing between Jade and Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Initially with Jade, there's going to be a very short supply. So, and then there's going to be a ton of demand to buy it, because the APRs and the pools are likely to be well into the thousands of percent.
Yes.
At first.
Yes.
Just for like a few weeks or a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was surprised how long Crystal Veil held
Yeah.
like above 2,000%.
It was
Like for example, on my AVAX crystal pool,
it's
it held
amazing.
above 1,000% for like 2 or 3 months. It's
It was
like,
great.
yeah, it was crazy. But it didn't really help because Crystal just dumped so hard. And so, but it was nice earning that kind of the amounts that, because along the way I was able to take profits with a lot of my crystal that I was earning, but I was actually more so recompounding back in. Um, so that's one thing to consider is that I would expect Jade to pump pretty hard and Crystal to dump real hard at first. And so it's going to like create all kinds of interesting dynamics in the market to where a lot of people, you'll probably be smart to be selling, dumping your Jade right away as it's pumping like crazy. But then you're going to want to go and get these like 4,000% interest. So what do you do? Uh, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
And then as like the circulating supply of jade increases over time, it'll kind of settle back down and be more paired with crystal.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting kind of what we saw with the jewel crystal comparison when crystal first came out. It was 4 or 5x what jewel was.
Yeah.
And then it, slowly just kind of came back closer to parity over time. We might see something, kind of along those lines. I don't know. Any more thoughts there?
Yeah. So I think you're right on the target with that. Um,
Yeah.
I I don't know if I have a whole lot more to say. I do think that there's going to be perhaps a little bit of variance and fluctuation. There's going to be pump and dump possibly with Jade at the beginning. It's hard to say. I don't want to miss out, but I wouldn't want to ape in too much too
Yeah.
early. It will stabilize. There will be, I think, a very close parity between those two because in each of those realms, people will be buying heroes and summoning and leveling up with those specific power tokens on
Yes.
each one.
Well,
Yeah.
and see, that's another thing is that I probably won't want to be having a having a ton of heroes over there
Mm-hmm.
because it's going to just be more expensive to be summoning and leveling and all that kind of thing. My
So,
thought. That's just my guess.
yeah. So, why do you think it would be more expensive to summon and level on Clayton?
Well, because at first when Jade's pumping to the moon because the
Mm,
APRs and the shock supply of
yeah.
Jade,
Yeah.
well, you'll probably just want to leave, but we'll want our heroes questing over there maybe to get the items
Yes, you
like
will.
Swift Thistle.
Yep.
If we get that,
Yeah.
so we probably won't want to be doing any summoning until we see the Jade come back down to closer parity with Crystal.
Yeah.
So that will help Crystal from dumping too hard. I think
Yeah.
is if Jade is like we said earlier, like let's say Crystal's at 20 cents and Jade's and Crystal might even go down to like 16 cents or something. I could see that
Sure.
happening.
I could see that.
And Jade might go up over $1. I could see that for a short time
I could see that too. I think it's
for
possible.
for kind of a quickie, like when it first gets going, and then
Yes.
we'll see Jade like coming down from there. Who
So,
knows, man? But it's just so hard to predict. If it gets too out of whack, like let's say Jade goes up to $5,
that's crazy.
well, then it's an absolute no brainer. You don't want to do anything over there with your
Sell,
heroes
sell it,
except
sell it.
Quest.
So
Yeah.
here's a thought for you to. I'm interested in what your thinking is for this. So let's say that uh, we know that on day one, I say we know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. We're 99% sure on day one we are going to have liquidity pool and jeweler at least at a bare minimum on day one, and probably within, if not on day one, then very soon after we should be able to buy and sell heroes and summon and all that kind of stuff, which I think is also going to be on day one. But if not, it'll be within the week, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it will be.
Yeah.
I think the parity will come. If not day one, we might even have full parity. Possible.
That's possible. I
But
wouldn't.
maybe not. We might not get much on day one too. I could see it go either way.
Yeah. So here's the big question, and that is, um, on day one, some of us are going to be getting uh, a certain amount of maybe liquid jewel dropped on us. I forget if we're going to get liquid jade dropped on us. I seem to remember that there might have been some amount of liquid jade that would be
Yeah,
available to us.
I think we'll get some liquid jade, liquid jewel, and liquid crystal right off the bat.
Yeah. And then, of
And then,
course, go ahead.
yeah. Well, isn't it like 42% of the lock jewel goes into lock jade, 42% the lock jewel goes into lock crystal, and then maybe all the rest gets dumped onto the market in the form of jewel, crystal, and jade.
So
Something.
I think you're pretty close, although they've been
Okay.
sharing a graphic in the Discord for a while now. Let's see if I can find it again
Oh,
real
really?
quick. It shows
Okay.
44% for
Oh,
locks.
44.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 12%, by the way, you were saying 7% in your video this morning, but at least the graphic that I was seeing was 12% is going to become liquid jewel, right?
Oh,
So,
okay. It's 12, not 7. Okay. I wasn't sure. That's where I was like, man, I wish I had Mr. Zipper right here in my back pocket to be precise with these
yeah,
numbers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Having somebody like that in your back pocket's always really good. Let me see if I can
Yeah.
find that graphic here because it will. They've been sharing it many times. Um, looks like I'm having a little trouble finding it right
So
here at the moment.
12% immediately liquid of Jewel. See, that
Yeah,
that might create some sell pressure on Jewel.
it might. I mean, I was thinking. Oh, something else that I mentioned in my stream this morning. I don't know if you go back and watch my Twitch streams or not, but
I've never watched the Twitch stream, dang it. So I
that's
plan on it.
fine.
I just haven't gotten to it yet.
That's fine. I can show it.
Yeah.
I can show you what I was talking about right here. So
Okay.
with Jewel, let's go ahead and take a look at Jewel on the charts here for this. Oops, that's yeah, here it is. So for Jewel, let's look at all of the history for Jewel, and of course we see it breaks my heart that we were up so high and now we're not. But if we zoom in a little bit here on I'm
Okay.
sorry, it's not Jewel. I want Crystal. Or no,
Okay.
hold on. I think it is Jewel. Okay, so if we go back to Jewel and we're looking at this stuff, here we can see that, and I think you did mention this on your stream here also. Maybe you didn't make it quite as clear, but I think you do realize what's going on. We got up to 28 cents for Jewel here recently. And if you look back at that, I think you hit the nail on the head. We have not been this high since the middle of June, except for whatever this little weird stuff is happening right here in July, which I don't know if this is totally accurate, if this is just some kind of freak of the chart that we're seeing here. I find it hard to believe that it actually spiked up to 70 cents and then dropped back down so quickly. Any case, at any rate, what the point that I'm trying to make right now is that you notice that over the last day or so, we had this big spike in the price of Jewel, and then we saw a big dip right here. I was a little
Hmm.
surprised to see it come back down to 25 cents, thinking everyone's locking in for 3 years or a year or something. We're probably not going to see a lot, but to have that much sell pressure right here. Of course, this last part of the dip is just because of what's going on today with FTX. So let's try to
Yeah.
ignore that for right now. But
We
this
can
first
ignore
step,
that, but there was still like close to $5 or $6 million worth of Jewel X Jewel in that
mm-hmm,
pool.
yep, yeah,
And so some people probably were taking some profits there.
exactly. And that's what I
Yeah.
think you knew, and I definitely wanted to bring to attention here because on my morning stream I was noticing that we have not seen Jewel this high since June. That's 6 months
June.
ago, right?
That
Or five
yeah,
months.
right.
So
Right.
so anybody who wanted to be getting out of crypto, maybe they had a bunch of stuff in DeFi Kingdoms. That it could be that they're like, I'm done with this DeFi Kingdoms, or I'm done with crypto in general, or I need to pay my mortgage, but I don't want to sell at these low rates. I need, I need to buy groceries, but I don't want to sell while it's low. All those
Hmm.
people finally see right now. This is
Hmm.
the first time in 6 months it's been this high. Now's the time to sell. Got to sell right now. It's just spiked up.
Hmm.
And so I
Yep.
think that sell pressure we're seeing right now is quickly going to go away. Those
Yep.
people that really need out, they're going to sell out right now. And
Mm-hmm.
it's possible that when we go up to 30 or 40 cents that we might see another wave of people selling out. But if several million Jewel are going to get dropped on the market when Serendale comes out in 2 weeks, there might be, as you said, a lot more sales pressure of those people saying, I've had this Jewel locked away for a year. I'm really upset with DeFi Kingdoms for now giving us locked crystal and locked jade rather than the Jewel that I
Yeah.
thought I was getting out. I'm so upset. There could be a few people like that that have been waiting or expecting this money. Maybe they were going to pay their mortgage. They said, I'm putting this in locked Jewel, and by next year when I'm ready to buy a house or I'm ready to do something else, I'll have this money. It's been delayed because of all the stuff that's been going on in the economy recently and bear market stuff. But now that they're finally going to get all this Jewel unlocked and liquid, they might decide to bail on the whole thing.
Yeah. I could see definitely with 12% dumping on the market. I could definitely see some short-term sell pressure, which will just, in my mind, be a great opportunity to buy those dips.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I think a lot of us that are in DFK right now are here because we are so diehard, we're going to stick around. And I'm sure that many of us would love to buy another dip. I don't know if we're going to see lows this low again as soon as Serendale opens and as soon as Jewel itself starts to become a lot more. We start to see a lot more benefits like the power ups. As soon as the game has the power ups, we're waiting on that. But as soon as
Mm-hmm.
it does, people are going to want Jewel more than ever to level up their
Mm-hmm.
Evos faster and get the experience bonuses and to get all that other stuff that only Jewel will be able to provide, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's in the intermediate midterm, there is so much massive buy pressure for Jewel.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could see it in the not too distant future hit $1
Sure.
pretty easily.
Yeah.
But in between there, we're gonna have some volatility.
So here's another interesting question for you then.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and I both, as many of the people watching the streams, we really believe in DeFi Kingdoms. We really believe in a strong Jewel. We believe that Jewel is the future, all this kind of stuff. But here is an interesting question. If you think that Jewel is going to get up to $1 sometime soon with
Yeah.
all
Within the
this,
next 2 or 3 months, maybe
yeah, with
even.
all this hype,
Yeah.
do
Mm-hmm.
you think that in a sharp rise that it will peak out and then people will take profits and sell? Because
All along the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
here's
and that's the case with anything. Usually things don't go meteoric.
right.
Every once in a while that
Right.
happens. And we still I'm not exactly sure when that all that unlocking is going to happen. I think it's going to happen after Clayton opens up Serendale sometime. Maybe within the next month is when that'll all be coming. And then, we'll see some sell pressure. And a lot also depends on the market. Like if Bitcoin dumps down to, let's say something really bad, like CZ backs out of FTX and it just crumbles, we could see a black swan effect where Bitcoin drops down to 14,000, or something. And that'll just affect like it is now, I think, affecting us.
Yeah.
So when that happens, it'll be good to have dry powder on the side. And that's another reason why it's like good to take some profits, if nothing else, to have some dry powder on the side, if it dips back down.
Yeah.
And so all along the way, we'll see a 30% increase and then a 15% decrease and then another 30% increase and then a 15% increase. And then, as we'll see some of those type patterns probably happening, which you commonly see on a lot of times a real healthy coin on a steady growth. You see, and this is what traders are always looking at. You see retracements and and then you see a buy zone where it pumps again, and then you see a retracement, and then you see another buy zone where it pumps again.
Mm-hmm.
And the traders are taking advantage of all that.
So what I was kind of thinking is, even though I believe in a strong jewel, I'm
Yeah,
wondering if selling on some of these high spikes, selling jewel, which means I have to have it not locked away for 3 years, but
that's right.
selling some jewel on a high peak to then buy more back during the next dip, that might be another strategy to
Yep. And
do.
that's really the case always, like
Yeah.
with anything, in crypto, you want to having a portion set aside always to where you can take some profits along the way and have more dry powder on the side
Yeah.
to buy the dip. Yep.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
So,
so like even in my scenario with Binance Coin, I had all that money just ready to buy when it hit $15. I sold. And then when it dipped down to $13, I was trying to buy it, but we couldn't buy it anymore in the United States because they shut it down. And so they shut down Binance in the United States and then later came out with Binance.us,
right.
with
Yes.
in which I never even became a part of until more recently in the bull run. And I guess I feel like it's recent, but I guess like 2 years ago. And it's like so crazy time. But I wanted to buy more, but then I was like nervous that maybe see, like, all the talk is that CZ and Binance trouble, trouble, trouble. Like
Mm-hmm.
all the fear was in Binance back then. And so it actually stopped me from buying the dip, even though I was fully trying to and intending to. Like when it dipped back down to like $13, and then the rest is history.
Yeah.
It just, even through the bear market, Binance Coin just was solid, straight solid.
Yeah.
Um, and we saw that like with Chainlink. If the team continues to deliver, I think we could see a similar effect with Jewel.
That's what my thinking is. I would be very scared to sell Jewel even on these high peaks at this point, and trying to time the market, trying to time that dip just
Yes.
right, seems like it's so risky of a thing. When you know that Jewel's going to be going up over time,
Yes.
just hold that thing, right?
Just hold it in the jeweler. That's where I went, like 75% of all that Jewel that I had, transferred in from Clayton. I had some in Clayton, some in Avalanche, some in, and I'm like, I'll buy those coins back later. I'm more focused on getting Jewel now. And so I had about 30,000 Jewel. And so now, or maybe not quite 30,000, 28,000, 29, something like that. And then, so of that amount, I put 21,000 basically into the jeweler.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to worry about it. And see, over the span of the year, like let's just say I put that in for a year instead of 3 years. If you think about it for a second, over the span of the year, I'm going to have 60. I'm hoping for almost all my Jewel earned back in rewards, and I'll have 67% more rewards. Really, I'll have a 3x more rewards for being in for 3 years versus somebody in for 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I was first talking to you, you might remember I was saying I might put some in a couple of different wallets and have different
Yeah.
time frames. And when it came down to it, and I was looking at
Yep.
what that was going to be, I was like, man, I don't think it makes sense for me, at least with this amount of money. Now maybe if I was dealing with a lot more money and it was a lot larger part of my overall investment portfolio, then I probably wouldn't want to lock away $1 million as an example for 3 years, uh, like that.
Yep.
I would probably
Yep.
say, maybe I should put some of it aside into easier access. You know, it's like you said, some powder on the side so I can buy the dips and all
Yep.
that kind of stuff
Some
too.
powder on the side.
Yeah.
And then with the remaining jewel that I didn't put in the jeweler, when it was up at 28.5 cents, maybe, I sold about 1,000 jewel. And then, no. I got somewhere around between 27 and 29 cents. I took out about $1,000 worth of USDC. You know, I sold about $1,000 worth of jewel back into USDC. And then since then, I pretty much, as it's come back down, I've pretty much bought all that back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it like in increments of like $100, you know, throughout the day. So that's where it's good. Like when you're taking profits, you know, those are the kind of percentages that I'm thinking, and I'm just happy to take profits, knowing with Jewel now, I'm real happy to just take profits along the way because I know I've got 70% of the Jewel or 75% of the Jewel that I had locked away for 3 years, earning more Jewel every day. So, hey, now I feel good about taking profits on the Jewel that I still have.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is fun, man. This is so fun.
It is.
Talking about it.
Do you see the chart on my screen yet? This
Okay, are you sharing your screen or should I try to go to YouTube?
I guess you can try to go to YouTube.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll just let's see. I'm coming to your channel. You might hear a little feedback. Sorry. Okay. That was good. Okay, coming into your, let's see, live. Okay. Okay, so this one's still live, 11 watching.
Yeah. Do you look at this chart right here at all very often? I oftentimes love to look at this chart right here. It is Jewel Crystal compared not with US dollars, but with each other.
Oh, nice. So this is great because it's not having feedback. But yes. Okay, so what did you say again? It's Jewel paired with
Jewel and Crystal paired with each other, not showing the USD values of these two, but it's how much Jewel per crystal you have. Do you look at this much or at all?
No, so I was going to ask you. So you go to Dex Screener. What website is that?
I'll drop the link in right now into chat.
Okay.
For you to.
And I'm trying to figure out how to mute. I'm on my phone. I'm trying to figure out how to mute this. I don't know if any feedback's coming through.
I don't hear any feedback.
Oh, good.
If you are doing something, I would say keep your phone stuff and just mute all the YouTube computer stuff.
Yeah, it's like easy to mute when I'm on the computer, but I don't see a mute option on my phone.
Interesting.
Huh.
Well, I don't.
But I barely hear it from YouTube, barely. So as long as it's not coming in.
Yeah, I think you're fine.
Okay.
I don't hear any echo.
Okay, so that is Crystal paired with Jewel.
Yeah.
Chart.
Right.
Interesting.
And so what we're specifically seeing right now is the fact that Jewel compared to Crystal has, of course, had this massive skyrocket, which we know it has. I mean, Crystal's dumped and Jewel's pumped, and so when you've got that great divergence in there, it's even more exaggerated here and says, yeah, we really definitely should have been selling out of Crystal here on November the 4th when Sea Jewel opens. So all of this big meteoric rise is specifically when the Jeweler 2.0 opened. And even right now, what we're seeing is, even with both Jewel and Crystal dumping a little bit at the moment, just because of all the stuff with FTX, we're still noticing that they're holding parity pretty well if you just zoom in and look at what's going on the last day, right? In the last day.
You compare it to other assets out there.
Yeah. It looks down.
It's holding up.
But Jewel compared to Crystal, what's that?
What did you say is down?
Even though most of crypto is down, when you're looking at Jewel compared to crypto, you see that those are holding pretty evenly here through this.
Yeah, even after a huge pump of Jewel.
Yeah, right.
So that's awesome. It's just worked out really well and recently. And always peg it like this, but we have just been crushing the calls.
Yeah.
Because like even before, from back in August until now, or maybe even like late July, we've seen Jewel and Crystal flip a few different times
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
And every time we just crush the calls. I love it. So
I
like
I feel like I've
it's
gotten lucky with a lot of those things. I don't
yeah,
normally
yeah.
do
I
quite
mean,
as
it's
well.
happened so many times I almost lose track. But okay, so I remember when uh let's see, Crystal was above Jewel, and we said to sell the Crystal into Jewel, and then Jewel pumped and flipped Crystal,
Mm-hmm.
and then we said sell the Jewel. When I remember when Jewel was at like 22, 23 cents, and Crystal was at 18 cents. We said sell the Jewel into Crystal, and then we saw Crystal go all the way up to like 43 cents. And
Yeah.
this was in the birthday summoning event. And that was when we were saying sell Crystal by Jewel, and
Yep.
Jewel was less than 20 cents.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we saw Jewel, after they announced the new tokenomics, we saw Jewel flip Crystal again briefly. And Jewel was at like 22 cents, and Crystal was at like 18 cents ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we said sell the Jewel into Crystal because there's a shortage of Crystal and everyone's moving all their stuff off Serendale, go back into Crystal now.
Yeah.
And then we saw Crystal recently, pump up to
It's just
like
crazy.
27 cents, or at around 26 cents. I was saying, okay, sell the Crystal back into Jewel, and Jewel's at 15 cents, Crystal's at 27 cents. And
Yeah.
then boom, now
Yep.
it's flipped again. I love it.
Yeah. I think just maybe at least on my end, a lot of it seems to be that we have an opportunity here, which is very rare, I feel. We have an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity where we have a good grasp of the environment that we're in, and I think being able to see what is likely to happen might be a little bit easier in that type of environment. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I suspect, at least for me, that at some point it's going to get more challenging to guess the right things. As long as we're having a bunch of releases of interesting stuff coming out,
Mm-hmm.
it can be fairly easy to see, uh-oh, here's a big move where Jewel will be less desired and Crystal will be more desired, or Crystal will be less desired, or so on, and Jewel will be more desired. It's kind of easy to see that in some of these plays, but maybe once the game is more stabilized, there'll be less of
Yeah.
that opportunity, right? Because without new things consistently coming out that might flip these tokens, with the stabilization also means that everyone's already figured it out. They're in what they're in because it's making money, and we might not see these dramatic changes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And as things settle down, so like the main takeaway long term is that Jewel's the golden goose here
Yeah.
in this ecosystem. And I don't really see a limit to its potential, honestly.
Hmm.
I think if the game succeeds and we just keep rolling, years down the road, $100 Jewel, $1,000 Jewel, it's all possible
Man.
because it's deflationary,
Yes, it is.
and there's tons of use case, especially if it gets listed on exchanges like
Mm-hmm.
Coinbase, like the Coinbase Learn. Are
Mm-hmm.
you familiar with that?
I'm not.
Where
Oh, yes.
basically you
Yes.
can watch videos and learn about the project, and you make a little crypto
Yeah.
just for watching the videos and learning about the project.
I was helping my mom get started with some crypto several months ago, and it was the first time. I've thought Coinbase has been really good for brand new people getting them in. It seems to be
Yeah.
fairly easy, and so I was helping her out with that. And
Yeah.
yeah, there was some little videos there, so I got to see for the first time this uh, watch a 3 minute video or a couple of 3 minute videos and earn a little bit of crystal and or
Yeah.
not crystal, but whatever the tokens was at the time. And there was like 3 or 4 different scenarios or tokens or projects, I guess I really should say 3 or 4 different projects that had their tokens up there that you could watch videos for them and get some of that. It's like, that sounds fantastic.
I know, right? And it just, that's a lot of those videos caused me to get into some of those projects.
Hmm.
And even though I hate Coinbase because of their fees,
Yes.
they drive me nuts. So I don't recommend them at all.
Yeah.
But I do like that feature just as far as adoption is concerned. And the more we can spread the word.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really pumped in Florida. To my mission in Florida, I'm going to be like a man on a mission.
Oh, wow.
Is to connect with Altcoin Daily and whoever else is there. I hope Hustle's there, people like BitBoy or whoever that I can connect with. And as like a DeFi Kingdoms, almost like coming across as a DeFi Kingdoms, I'm part of DeFi Kingdoms, or something, reaching out to them, connecting with them, and then getting on their channel. I'd love to get on. My goal is to get on Altcoin Daily's channel, baby.
Wow. Nice.
Talking DeFi Kingdoms.
I don't think I've thought about a strategy for myself. I'm obviously going to be taking some stuff to do some videos, absolutely. But
yeah,
I haven't really thought about visiting a lot of other booths or any of that kind of stuff. I know I'm going to be watching the seminars or the talks that Beetle Dude and well, I'm not sure.
And Dreamer,
but
yes,
I'm not sure.
Dreamer and Beetle Dude get the actual floor.
Are they doing separate talks?
What's that?
Are they doing separate talks on different topics?
Do you know? I think no. They're both gonna. They get to take the stage one time, I think, which is like a miracle. Just getting any time on the stage will be phenomenal for the project. Yeah. It's a 2-day event, and you're going to have different bigger crypto projects in there, and guys like Altcoin Daily, they also get the stage. So just the fact that DeFi Kingdoms gets to take the stage, holy cow. That's huge.
That is.
And then if we can connect with some of these influencers to get DeFi Kingdoms back on the map.
Yeah.
And then I'm pumped to connect with Dreamer, have the bromance, as Dreamer called it.
Nice. I wonder if
he said he'd have a bromance with us. Yes. I love it.
I wonder if George is going to be there from Cryptos R Us.
I really hope so. I'm going to pin him down like a butterfly in a killing board, buddy. But I haven't heard if he's going. I have been watching his videos here lately, trying to see if he's talking about it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it would be very interesting to see a lot of, I don't know how many crypto influencers are going to be going. It seems like it's a pretty big event. It'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to see what happens.
It's exciting, man. I'm going to have a blast hanging with you.
Indeed.
So pumped.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so. So I just noticed what time it was. A little after 7:00. My stomach is saying, "Hey, are you hungry yet?"
Yeah.
So...
I'm the time warp, man.
Oh,
man. This second video we just started. How long? I mean, are we over an hour? We're over an hour in.
Believe it or not, we are. Yeah, we're an hour and 15 minutes or 18 minutes already.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay.
All right, man.
Okay, man.
Thanks for being here.
Hey, and by the way, I sent you 830 Joule on the last stream we were on. I did it right away.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks
you bet, man.
So I will see you on the 20. When are you coming in?
I'm getting in late Sunday night.
Okay. All right.
Like 1 a.m. is when the flight lands. Wow. So I'm like, dang it. I wanted to come way earlier, but just the flights, it just made the most sense to come then. Yeah.
Are you going to be, so I know that you've been kind of waking up late. Are you going to be trying to wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning to get
Oh yeah.
there when it opens? You are? Okay.
Oh yeah.
All
I'll
right.
I'll just have to push through and adjust. Take an extra Adderall.
There you go. Grady is going to push through and take one for the team. His sleep is
Oh
going to
yeah.
take one for the team there. Nice. All right,
I
man.
mean, I don't like to have a terrible sleeping pattern. It just
Yeah,
happens. I don't know why.
I hear you. I've gotten really
Yeah.
bad in mine recently. I'd like to go to bed earlier and wake up earlier, but for the past some amount of time, it's not been. Anyway, I don't want to keep you much longer. We'll be chatting again
Yeah.
soon. Do you have a stream planned for sometime real soon, or should I
Oh man,
not be expecting
I
it?
don't know. Okay. So tomorrow I'm gonna have Crypto Baby H and I think Spiky,
Oh,
like with the
wow.
Unity Guild on the
Yes,
Unity. Hey, I don't know if you saw my one of my recent videos. The three for beginners. Here's three tool. Like here's three.
I did.
Here's where to start for beginners. I gave you a good shout out there.
Ah,
It's funny.
indeed. I love your short little videos. It
Yes.
I think there's a whole consumer market for those that people just, a lot of people aren't going to watch these three, even an hour
Right.
stream is too long for some people.
Yeah. And I have about I think I'm up to about 100 videos that I
Wow.
just need to go shoot that are
Hmm.
short like that.
Nice, nice. I've been
So I just
planning.
need to start knocking that out more. I'm also trying to summon, get more tickets, especially with crystals dipping and
Yeah. There's just so much to do. I've been planning to do, short videos for like 2 months now, and I still haven't gotten around to even doing one. There's summoning to do. There's other stuff to do off stream, and it's just
right.
craziness. Yeah, I'm
It's
trying
just
to.
busy. And then right when I think I've got the time, then all of a sudden I got to, the kids have a soccer tournament or, or whatever. It just always happens that way.
Exactly. I'm trying to get all my eggs
Yeah.
in a basket in line to start doing programming for Solidity, and I
Oh, yeah.
I want us to be making some DFK tools. I want us to be making little side games and all kinds of stuff. And it's taking a back burner to other stuff. And there's just so much to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Just keep the grind up. It'll come. I
Indeed.
love it.
All right, man.
Okay,
I'm going to
man.
let you go. Thanks for being here. I will catch you on stream sometime very soon.
Okay. And verify that 830 Jewel got to you.
I will.
And okay.
I'll do it
Love you,
right after.
man.
Love you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Okay. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Wow. How about that? So let's go ahead and wrap things up here, guys. Amazing stream with Crypto Grady. Umar, how about when Jewel gets listed on the DEX? That's absolutely going to skyrocket things. Sergeant says you guys should make plans for NFTLA. Apparently, DFK may make it there in March of next year. Oh, interesting. That would be good to plan on that kind of thing as well early. Absolutely. All right, guys, I am going to head out, wrap this stream up right here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I guess we're going to go to the docks where we can sail away for the night. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me. Until tomorrow's stream on Twitch, I think we can just type in !Twitch into the chat room. I think most of y'all know how to get to me there, but if not, then we should be able to see the link here. Until then, guys, y'all have a good one, whether it's AM or PM for you, and I will see you on the next stream on Twitch. Rock out.